Hey there, darling. Welcome to the Farmer's Table. My name is Jess, and today I want to show you how to make homemade ranch dressing completely from scratch. Salad dressings are a really great thing to start making from scratch if you value saving money and not eating garbage ingredients. Seems like if you want to buy the high quality salad dressings at the store, they're exorbitant in price. And if you buy the cheap ones, they've got all kinds of gross oils and ingredients and preservatives in them. I have 5 sons. They love ranch dressing. They eat it like it's giving them life. So we make this frequently. Now, I have a video showing how to make mayonnaise from scratch. That's what I am starting with here. I'm going to use a half a cup of my homemade mayonnaise. I'm just going to combine this all into the jar that I'm going to store it in. I also need a half a cup of sour cream. And I need half a cup of buttermilk, but I do not keep buttermilk. Anything with an expiration date that I'm not going to just use tons of, I just don't like to keep, especially something that's so easily substitutable. So I'm just gonna use the same dirty bowl. I don't need anything else to wash in my life. The ratio for making buttermilk, or buttermilk substitution, I guess I should say, it's not true buttermilk, but it works, is you put a tablespoon of either lemon juice or vinegar into a cup, and then you fill it up the rest of the way to be 1 cup. So 1 tablespoon to almost a cup of liquid. I don't typically measure this. I want to put a splash in that's about half a tablespoon if you want to measure it. And then I'm going to fill it up to half a cup. So typically if a recipe is calling for buttermilk, like in pancakes or biscuits or something like that, you would want to let this sit for like 30 seconds to make sure whatever chemical reaction is going on whenever acid meets milk. For putting it in here, we're going to mix it all together so you don't have to wait. So I'm using chives that I just grabbed out of my garden for this today. If you don't have fresh chives, you can use dried ones. If you have picky kids that a hunk of anything big and fresh and green in your ranch dressing is going to freak them out, you can use onion powder. It's going to bring the same flavor to the party. So I like the fresh chives though. We want about 2 tablespoons of these. I'm just using scissors and I'm going to cut them directly over this jar. I also need a teaspoon of dried dill, about 2 teaspoons of dried parsley. If you're using fresh, just finely dice it, and I would do 2 teaspoons. I want to do about half a teaspoon of fine salt, a hefty pinch of black pepper, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. If you really like onion flavor in your ranch dressing, you can add onion powder as well as the chives, but all right, so we're just gonna mix this up. And there we have our lovely ranch. This is more like restaurant style. A lot of times whenever you get ranch at restaurants, they do make them in-house. So if you've ever wondered what gives, why the restaurant's ranch tastes better than the squeeze bottle of gelatinous stuff you can buy at the store, it's because they're making it. Now I do typically like bold flavor. You can do less of these seasonings if you want. I think that this is really good just how it is. To be honest, I'm actually going to now quadruple this recipe and fill the rest of the jar. I just wanted to make a single recipe for you guys. This lasts for, I mean, at least a couple of weeks in the fridge, depending on the freshness of your ingredients. Obviously, use milk that's like about to turn. It's in there, so it'll still happen. Maybe the salt and the lemon juice could slow it down a little bit, but I'd say you got a couple of weeks. We usually get through it before it goes bad. If you do like a thicker texture, you can actually use buttermilk powder instead of buttermilk and just do the mayonnaise and the sour cream, and you will have a very thick ranch that's going to be more like a dip. So like if you want it more for dipping veggies in and stuff like that. But I like a good thin ranch. I just think it's just preference. If you want the buttermilk flavor without the thin texture, buttermilk powder will do that. And you'd have to look on the package of whatever buttermilk powder you got, but I would put in with like half a cup of mayonnaise and half a cup of sour cream. I would put at least a few tablespoons of buttermilk powder in with that to get the fullness of the flavor. Also, American food is very sweet. A lot of times whenever we purchase things like dressings, they have sugar in them. If you do have a preference for a sweeter ranch, you can always add like a tablespoon of sugar to this, or a little bit of stevia or monk fruit powder or something to give it just a little bit of sweet, but I wouldn't do a whole lot of that or else it would probably be a little weird. Pretty simple. And that's one more thing you can knock off the grocery list that you don't have to buy. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.